Hey, and welcome back to Heart of the Matter podcast. I am your host, Sherry J, and Melita is backstage. She's also our co host. So, if this is your first time coming onto the live, we want to say welcome and thank you so much for coming on the live today. Also, if you're a returning guest or even if you're new, please say hello to let me know that you are on with us. And we look forward to speaking with you. Again, like I said, if this is your first time, I just want to let you know what this live and what this podcast is about. So, we are a Christian based podcast, and we stand a lot behind providing biblical solutions to everyday issues. So, on this podcast, we do talk a lot about fatherlessness. We talk a lot about social epidemics. Do a lot of those. So, just different issues that are going on in society that needs to be fixed. And the only way to fix those issues is to actually go to the rule book. As Kevin Ewing would say, the rule book is the Bible. And that's the only way to provide a solution for those things. So it's a pleasure to be back again with episode 42. And we're just so grateful that God has graced us to continue to go on with the podcast. No matter what type of trials and things come our way, we continue to come on. I know I did start this live actually on time, and then I cut it off because I got a like weird message that came up, and I was like, "Hold on, I don't got no storage," and so then I ended it. So, but yeah, if you saw that, that was just me coming on, trying to test out the live and things like that. So we're here now, but please share the live, and also please comment and let me know if you're on. Say hello. I'm doing very good today. It was sunny today here in Detroit. Um, Nice weather. The sun is going down now, but it was a good day. I didn't go outside, but yeah. But we're here with another episode that's going to be so wonderful. Hey, Marilee, what's up? You're here on time. I'm so surprised. No. All right. We're gonna just go ahead and bring our co-host in today. Before we do that, if you don't know, we're talking about modesty, why women no longer wear clothes. So, if you know somebody who's interested in talking about this topic and they want to drop some comments, please invite them, send them, a message, let them know we're live, and this is gonna be a great conversation. So, let me bring her on now. Hey, girl. Hey.
Hey.
Okay, I see your lips popping. You looking all cute.
Wow.
Okay, I'm sorry. I wasn't supposed to say that.
That's
No, no,
funny.
no.
No, it's okay.
I'm sorry. But no, I
No,
wasn't
you're
trying to scare
fine.
you. Just saying that you look pretty.
You did. I'm just
Well, okay, so guys, if you're on,
thank you.
please say hello to us, to my co-host. Isn't she looking so pretty today? Okay. Always, she always looks pretty, but I'm like, okay, I'm liking the look.
Thank you.
Um, hey Linda, that's Mama J. She said, "Thank God I finally got it on this." Oh, it's Linda. Hey, okay, and this is actually her requested topic because she actually came in the inbox and she was like, "Hey, we need to do a topic on why these women don't wear no clothes." And I'm like, you know what? You're right. We do need to do a topic on that. And not long after, we actually came across well, I was like scrolling on Facebook and I put this in a group like some time ago, and I actually scrolled across a lady or girl who actually just was like, it was just out there, and I was like, wow, this is what Mama J talking about. Like, why the women ain't wearing no clothes? I'm just gonna show it real quick. So this was the picture. If you've seen it on the Facebook, you recognize it. I put this here, that emoji there, because if I didn't, it would have been a whole bunch of just nudity across the screen. I know they shared it, but I don't want to share it on my page in that way. But you get the drift of how the young lady was dressed. And this is what brought us to the topic of why women don't want to wear clothes. Like, she had like almost like a belt or something on that it was looking like a skirt. And it's like, you remember this?
Yeah,
Like,
she was wearing it looked like she was wearing, you called it a belt.
yeah, I called it a belt because that's what it looked like.
Hmm.
It was
Nothing was covered at all.
it was just her
Probably,
whole backside.
yeah.
I sent this picture to my sister. She was like, "Hold on, is her butt out?" I'm like, "Yeah, the
Her top
emoji
the
is
top crack
covering. The
was covered.
whole is out." And it's like, now, I mean, I understand. I ain't gonna say I understand, but I know, like, sometimes, you young, you might be wearing clothes that got something shortcut, or different things. I mean, I can manage with that, but to just come out and the whole your butt is just out, like, it's like, oh my god, like, what are you thinking at this point? Are you not? Do you not care what people see? Are you not? I don't know. I know I would feel uncomfortable. Like, I know you would. I know you would, Melita, because I see your
Yeah.
stuff.
I mean, most of the time, like, I mean, it's traditional and completely normal and right to have clothes on when you're out in public. That's
Exactly.
why
It's
they
just like,
created them.
it's a given. It should be a given. It should be something that we automatically get. And it used to be, but times have changed. And this is where we are. I don't know how much more it's going to get to. Like, are we just going to be wearing two pieces around? Like, hey, this is my new outfit. I just don't, I don't understand, y'all. Y'all got to help me understand. Um, are y'all seeing any of this on the jobs out, out? Let's see. I see. Hey, Val. Okay, she made it. Hey, Ash. Rita said, so hey y'all, she's somebody grandma looking for sponsorship. We not playing with you, okay?
Oh
Yeah.
wow.
Look, if she still needs sponsorship as the grandma, you might give it up. Give it up. Hey Val, she said, what about the chick at the airport who was denied entry to her flight because of her outfit? I didn't see
Wow.
that. Oh, you got to send that to me so
Yes.
I can probably maybe show everybody. I didn't see that. Anybody else heard of that? You heard of that, Melita?
No, I didn't hear of that. That yeah, that would have been interesting to see. So
Wow.
the airlines have some standards.
Exactly. And that's what we don't understand. Like, if like we just think we can wear anything, do anything. No. People have dress codes and you have to abide by that type of stuff. It's frustrating, but let's go into let's just talk about the history of nakedness, or what being naked means, I guess. Once
I think they
Okay, sorry about that. Yeah, um so I want to look into nakedness, because this is what I did. I googled, and also, of course, biblical reference. I just want y'all to look at some of these words that it comes up with. If you just look up naked, let's see here. Let me see if I can share it real quick for y'all. Can you see this, Melita?
no.
You can't.
No.
Oh, okay, hold on one second.
I really
So if you just Google naked, right, and you'll kind
Okay,
of
I
just
see it
get to
now.
know what it means. Of course, it's a person without clothes, right? Nude, bare. And then this one, unadorned. Unadorned. I was like, wow, unadorned.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Unveiled, right?
Hmm.
We know it's always a good thing to have a veil around you. A veil is protection, right? And these
Hmm.
are words that it came up with. These are similar words to naked, unveiled, unqualified.
Hmm.
I was like, wow, could that mean you're unqualified to get a husband? You're unqualified to get the man you're looking for because of your dress? It's like, I'm like, wow, I'm just looking at all these words, and words really mean things. We may say it don't, but they do. So that was just interesting to know. Also, the word nakedness, if we look at the word nakedness, I wrote down what it actually means. So it means nude, shame. The main word it means is shame. So shameful exposure, improper indecency, and improper behavior. So that's what it means to be nude. So when you're nude, that's what you're basically saying with your body, is that, I'm a shameful woman. I am unqualified to be pretty much in a good relationship, right? I'm unveiled, I'm unclothed. So, I mean, that we may think it's a okay thing to do, but even if you look at slavery, do y'all remember with slavery, when the people, the slaves were taken on the boat, they were all naked. They took their clothes off. It's a
Right.
form of shaming,
Yes. Degrading.
degrading, right? And yet we feel like it's okay, but it's a form of us being degraded, and that's why the clothes.
Dehumanize.
Exactly. You're almost because how can you even fight back somebody if you don't have clothes on? You can't. Right. You know what I'm saying? Because that's the first thing when you go, a lot of times if somebody takes some you captive, right? The first thing they're gonna do is take everything you got, including your clothes. Because now you're shamed. You're not even gonna fight back because it's like, hold on, I'm trying to cover myself up, right? So it's interesting to note that this is what they did to our ancestors, right? And yet, we're just displaying everything for free. Right?
Nothing to the imagination.
Yes, nothing to that. I remember that saying. Do y'all remember that? I remember, like, the older people used to say, "Girl, you need to leave something to the imagination." Man. Um, okay, let's see here. Linda said, "What does the brothers and the men think?" That's what I want to know too. Like, what y'all think about it when y'all think of actually why do y'all think women actually don't mind not wearing clothes? Like, why do you feel like they feel like it's okay? I do want to know from some men if some men are on here. I know merely he may have a good opinion. I don't know if there's any other men, but why do we think women want to dress in a way that's immodest, that's not modest? And I'm like, women, you can chime in as well, but I just want to see, like Linda said, what the men think about it, because again, the men are the ones who have to actually date with these women. They have to marry them. They have to have babies with them. So, what do you, fellas? What do you guys think when you see a woman that's dressed? Um, and let me put the picture back up so for reference, in an immodest way. So, in this type of way, what do you think about a woman that's dressed like this? Um, yeah, I want your thoughts. We want your thoughts on that. So let's see. Hey, Anthony. So Anthony said for attention. He said that he's thinking they're doing it for attention. Hey, Tony. Let's see here. Merely said most of these women are for sale. It's an advertisement. Oh lordy. Wow. But if you say that to them, they're gonna say, no, this is just the way I want to dress and I do this for myself. It's not for you and for attention. Anthony said social media makes them think that that's how you get a man, but that's not how you attract a good man.
Yeah.
That's good because it's the truth. Like it makes you think that way. Like, ladies, what do you guys think? What do you ladies think? I'm sorry. Why do you think women are dressing this way? And it's getting worse because again, like I said, if her whole backside is out in this picture here, right? So everything's showing, pretty much everything. Like, so y'all can, if y'all know if y'all want to take her to the bedroom or not, because it's like, okay, no, the butt ain't looking the way I want it. So you know what? Never mind. I mean, because she just showing it all. Like at this
Or that's
point,
or that's like all you see. So you're not even focused on anything else. Your instincts automatically, your lust kicking in and kicking into overdrive past any other logic to say like, how's her personality? How's this? How's that?
right? Yeah, you ain't got time to think about that because you're like, well, I'm thinking about something else right now. And how
Right.
do because women will say, that don't mean that they shouldn't get respect, or you should respect me, or that's not the first thing you should think about because I'm dressed this way. Women actually say this. Rita said attention. Merely said they're not trying to attract good men. They want them pockets in exchange for their body. What? Nah. Bro, I think they are. Well, I don't know. He might be right. He's a man. I don't know, Melita. You think that's what it is? That's the case? They just so pretty much it's prostitution is what you're saying. Oh, I think Melita's frozen. I was waiting on her to talk, but I think she's frozen. So merely is saying it's a form of prostitution, basically, because he's saying they're not really worried about attracting a good man. They're really just worrying about the highest bidder, the man who's going to pay the most money. And that's what Merely's saying. Linda says sometimes the music world degrades our women and they think that is a good thing, um, but they're not going to take them home to marry. Exactly.
I think the question too that I have is, men say it all the time and they always tell you their intentions with naked women. They don't hide that. You know what I'm saying? Like they make it known and say, hey, these are for fun. These women are for pleasure. These women are to play with. They never say, I'm looking for a naked woman to take home to mama. You know, they never say that. They always let you know their intentions for those type of, you know, for that type of status, and doing those type of things. They never, you know, they don't sugarcoat it to me.
Are they really saying that? Are they just saying this when it's a status post, a posted, talking about a woman like this? Oh, I would never take that woman home. But are they in the inbox really saying, "Oh, girl, I would never marry you"? They not
Right,
saying
they're
that.
not
Are y'all,
exactly.
are
They're
y'all really?
telling her what she wants to hear,
That's what I'm
so to
saying.
get the
So
underwear.
she's still gonna keep doing it. If you're when somebody posts a picture like this and now you in the DM, you know what I'm saying? Of course. And you ain't just saying that, you know what I'm saying? Oh, I want you saying I want a relationship. You ain't just saying I want you for your body, because you ain't no way else she gonna just be like, okay, let's go for it, you know? So I think the men are doing something different. They're saying they don't want this, but then this is what they're liking. This is what they're, loving the pictures. They're in the DMs of this type of woman.
Oh
So
yes,
it's a catch 22.
yeah, they gonna get a lot of likes.
Okay. These are the reason I wrote, excuse me. I said women want to get noticed. They like the attention, like a lot of people said. They feel that that's what men want to see, which we know men like the backside and in the boob, that they're created to like that, right? So I mean, I guess that would be the case. Also, it's competition between other women. So they want to compete with another woman who's dressed a certain way. So now I'm gonna one up you. I ain't gonna even wear no pants this time, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like a back and forth thing with each other. And also I said influenced by TV, celebrities, your favorite Nicki Minaj's and who is Cardi B's and all them, whatever they're wearing, you're trying to wear it now, and I think that's where a lot of
Yes.
it's coming from as well. Merely said they're not going to just come out and say it, but they know what type of man that's going to approach them. I agree with that for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
They know because they can say, well, if you want to, it costs, and they say that. But also, I think some of them are just doing it because it's what's being done. It's how women are dressing. So if that's the way women are dressing, they're just like, okay, I'm just riding with the wave at this point, right? I think that
Right.
that's some of it as well because it's the culture now. It's a norm to dress this way, you know?
Yeah.
Uh, Go ahead. I'm sorry. You got something, Melita?
It's just like, to me, it goes back to that instant gratification, like chasing that high, you know, that attention, you know, yeah, it's attention seeking still. And then also for themselves, like, okay, I know I'm showing this, I got, I have this. It still goes back to being vain,
Yeah.
it still goes back to pride and just feeding that. And they just like want to feed it. It makes them feel a certain way. The question is, that we all have a part in knowing why, but the question you ask yourself is like, why? What is it feeding in me to do this?
Right. Like you said, the pride, the vanity. It's like, girl, I'm on top. Don't you know what I'm saying? It's that
Right.
competition that you the baddest out here. And you know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? So I think that is a top reason why women are doing it. Also with the men, of course, too. Because it's gonna grab a bunch of men's attention at once, because if they see something like this, it's like, oh, okay, you know. Um
Mm-hmm.
Merely said, oh, okay, no. Val said, I knew a guy who liked his women to dress like that, like Kanye's woman. Oh, like, wow. Really? She ain't got, and I don't
He married
understand that. Kanye just off the rocker because at first he wasn't, I don't think he was telling Kim about dressing, right? Now it's like she's dressing half naked. So maybe he's sending a message, I think, because I always think it's something going on with that. I believe he's sending a message. Y'all know he's smart. But because it's shameful to have your wife out here, any woman who doesn't cover herself up, it's a shame. Actually, you bring, you know what I'm saying? It actually is. That's what the word naked means, honestly. Anthony said you can dress sexy. Did you have something, Melita?
No, I was
Oh,
agreeing
okay.
with
Anthony said you can dress sexy and be modest. Me personally, I'm not attracted to women who shows all their body. You advertising it to every man that's not attractive. Your body is shown only to your man or husband. Dress like that with him in the house. Exactly. Man,
Yes.
I seen this guy. Well, it was a Muslim guy, right? Their women, wear the things and stuff. But he was saying that women in the household, they dress in all kinds of way, right? They look a mess. And when you leave out the house, it's like you putting on your best, you showing off everything, you know what I'm saying? But in the
Mhm.
household for your husband, it's just like, okay, pajamas on, whatever. and and so I know I get comfortable with that
Right.
too, you know what I'm saying? But I agree with Anthony. Definitely that should be only given to your husband at home. And that's the only thing I agree with the Arab kind of population is that they do cover up. Like they don't allow anybody to see their body, you know what I'm saying, outside of their husbands. Even young boys who are of a certain age, they don't allow them to see them. Like I had a friend when I worked at this company years ago, but she was a Muslim and she wore her little, I think was it hijab or something, or the thing that goes around her neck, her face to cover up, and she wore all that. But now my kids were little at the time, but my son, I think my oldest son was like maybe like 9 or 10. I don't know. He wasn't real big. But when I went to meet her because I wanted to get some of like the fruits or whatever they be having, the good stuff, right? And I remember she was like, "Oh, they can come in." She was like, they can come in. I don't have to put she said she didn't have to put her things on, but it was only if it was an older man or something that was coming in. So she didn't have to wear any of her stuff because they were still like little boys or whatever. But they don't play with that. And I think we should take some of that from their book, right? I'm not saying like all the extra,
Right.
but
Just
try.
having standards, having a standard, keeping that standard and letting it apply to even the children.
Yeah, exactly. I agree. I agree. Have a standard. That's what it is. Have some standards, have some morals and values to say, I'm gonna do this way because it's the right thing to do. Even though I have the free will to say I can wear a bikini, but I'm going to do the right thing because I have morals and values. That's the main thing. Oh, I'm sorry. Rita said the self-esteem is low. I agree with that too. And so that would be a good way to boost your self-esteem, right? If you got low self-esteem, nobody know about it because that's an inner thing. Most people won't know if you are self-conscious or you have self-esteem issues. So if you can post a picture and now all these men are liking it, they're sharing it, they in your inbox, that would boost your self-esteem. I would think so. But it's
It's
go
go
ahead.
ahead.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say that it seems it goes back to it seems to boost your self-esteem because it gives you that satisfaction, that fleshly satisfaction
Mhm.
of attention and lust and things like that. But then it also takes away from your self-esteem because behind closed doors your soul is like, you are
Mhm.
doing this for attention, you are doing this for money,
Right.
these boys don't love you, these men don't care about you, they using your body, things like that. And you're giving all of this, and what are you getting in return? And that's why you feel like you got to get money, because that's just a way to monetize what the lack that the other things that you're not getting, so you settle for money. But really you're lacking love, inner peace, and you're like, you know what I mean? So it's like you wondering why, like, I'm not fulfilled. When you do that instantly, once it's done, you have to keep doing it so that you can keep getting that feeling. It's just like drugs, you know what I
Ooh,
mean? And then when you stop, you start to thirst again. That's because your soul is thirsty all day, until
let
God,
me let me stop you up, sis. Because that was good. You said a whole bunch of goodness, okay? Because it's a false narrative that you're actually feeling good. It's a false self-esteem booster. It's really not real. Because like you said, at the end of the day, they're crying in the closet, or you know what I'm saying, and you're sad, and because your heart is really not fulfilled, you know what I'm saying? Only God can do that, right? And so because there's always going to be something missing, you're going to keep having to do this and that's with anything we lack that we're actually acting like, it's helping us. So that was really good, Melita, the way you put that. Merely said most women feel like liberation is doing whatever they want. Liberation to most women is just sexually immorality. Exactly. It is. It is. It's just doing it, like you said, doing whatever you want. You just know nobody's telling you what to do. Nobody's telling you how to do things. And it's really sad. I want to play this video because when I was asking the fellas, like, are y'all, because the only person I heard that said they were not talking to women that were immodest was Anthony. He's the only man on here that said, nope, if you ain't dressed right, I'm not even gonna look your way. But all the other guys were like, they didn't say anything. So I just want to play this video. I thought it was funny. I thought it was funny. And they were talking about Christian men too. The little TikTok was talking about Christian men. 1 second. Okay, here it is. Let me see it. Okay, let's do it again. Let me see it. So y'all see that? Is she saying? Did you see it, Melita? It said the Christian woman. Let me play
Yeah,
it.
I didn't see.
So it says Christian men talking about how they want a modest woman, right?
Right.
And then it says, but then they go to your Instagram following list.
It's the truth.
And then all you following on your Instagram is all the naked women.
It's the truth, sis.
The women don't have no clothes on. You know what I'm saying? They on there like they look just like the picture. So now it's like the women who are actually, Christian women, they confused like, well, that's all I see you following. You commenting on all their pictures, you know what I'm saying? You loving and heart eyeing all their pictures. But then, so of course they like, I gotta catch up. I gotta do something because you ain't even doing that to me. And I'm over here modest. What y'all gotta say to that, fellas? I want to know what's your thoughts on that. Like, even if you're not a per se Christian man, right? If you're a man of faith, right? And again, your whole list of friends consists of no women of faith at all. They're all women that look like that image of a prostitute woman or whatever. You know what I'm saying? How can you? That's like a double standard to say that's what you want, but all, your friends list carry nothing of what you're looking for.
Right. Or the so-called Christian woman you're going for is still naked.
Exactly. Right.
You know what I mean? Because you talk modesty, then you pop up on your arm when she half naked, and you're like, this my fiance, and it's like, what happened?
What happened? Merely said it'll only get worse. It's a win for men who want to cut the chase and get right to what the business is. So the men who just want to pay for it, they just like whatever. James said, hey, James. He said, we live in a harlot culture today, and dressing like the harlot is the in thing for most women. Unlike past generations of women where modesty was the norm and the harlot was ostracized. Exactly. It has flipped and flopped from what it used to be to now most women have adjusted themselves to immodest, and men have just acquiesced to their immodesty. Okay, that was good. I mean, he put it plainly, is pretty much what we're saying. Like now it's not good. If you dress modest, most people are not looking your way. Most men are, even because I think their eyes are already, so I guess, lustful. I don't know. I'm not really looking, I'm not in the dating scene. So Melita has to help me on that, on what she's seeing, what the men are giving her.
Only thing I can say,
you can keep going.
Yeah, no, only thing I can say is that, it still goes back to what the ladies just said on the video. A woman of God is definitely looking, and even the modest women, they're looking, they're paying attention to your friends list. They're paying attention to, what you're giving your attention to. And oftentimes it is the one that is, most naked. And so, I mean, anybody else have anything with that? I do agree with James. So it goes back to the scripture, where evil will be called good and good evil. So I think, and then talking about the narrow way leads to righteousness, and the broad way is what's going to lead to damnation. So I think that's what's happening. And so it's like you have to think about what fits in that category. And and the truth in this particular topic is that what fits in the category is that immodesty is narrow these days. I mean, modesty is narrow these days, and immodesty is broad. It's the norm. It's what's socially acceptable and pushed. So you have to think about those things, when you make a decision on what's right and what's wrong. And that's why the word of God is the best measure. But hold on, let me see where she at. So I am going to, let me see. I'm going to read some of the comments. James Mitchell said the value of being ladylike has plummeted like the Dow Jones on a bad day in the stock market. That's true. Linda Patillo, my mom. She said, when I was younger, I did wear halter tops, mini skirts, and all, but it had a little, but I had a little more, but it had a little more clothes to it. But now it's worse and worse. I think it goes back to what James was saying. Back then it's like, I think probably around your time, you were going out. You were young, you were going out, you were single, you wasn't technically looking for a husband or anything of that. I don't know if your major concern was to even have a standard, or were you just also just trying to look pretty. But it still was, maybe a little stomach here, a little stomach there, probably something you might see in the gym these days. But I don't think that it was to the extent that the woman that was like, she basically had on, she didn't really have on clothes. I mean, that covered nothing. That's the point of clothes, right? So James said the culture has shifted to celebrate harlotry and shunning classy, modest, elegant like women. Well, I mean, I agree. And which goes back to, I also want to give a shout out to those men who are sticking to their standards, the one who isn't wavering, the one who's speaking up, the one who's sparing, crying loud and not sparing, the one that's willing to lose friends and followers just to show that, like, hey, if you're not modest and if you're not classy, then it's not right and you're not right. And the ones who actually show that in their actions. So I do want to take some time out to celebrate and to show those men that their accolades, as well as the women, the women who have standards in that area and respect themselves. Some of the higher up you get in society when it comes to women, the more clothes they have. You never saw certain women dressing like that. The president's wives back.
No, go ahead, Melita. I'm listening to what you're saying. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying, like, the higher up you get, in position, and they have on clothes. The president's, the president's wives and the senators' wives and things like that. Like, they have clothes on. Some of the newscasting and things like that of what they wear, they're not fully naked, Right. So I just think that, because it shows respect, it shows class, exactly, decorum, Um,
Class, race, yes.
exactly. So we're on Linda, my mom, when she said
Oh, she
without the
said too.
power of that, sometimes men and women, yeah. Well,
It
not
takes
that
the
the
power
one
of
two
God.
it's two right above that. Um,
Oh, you know what? She said where the younger women what they wore. Did you do that?
yes.
Okay.
Yes. And then
And then
James,
James said the culture has shifted to
and then I
celebrate
didn't
how.
get to Tony.
Okay, Tony just said he just listened. Hey Tony. James again said the very unfortunate part is professing woman of God are partaking in that culture low key. They just act as if they're not included. Wow. So I mean, you know what? I'm not gonna say they're not, but I'm trying to see. So are they dressing naked? Like they're dressing kind of like this lady and they're women of God? I can't see them going that far. I don't know. Maybe that's just my eyes don't want to see it. I want to know what they're doing, but definitely if you are a woman of God, if you are, you should have more of a standard, a higher standard because you're what you represent Christ. So of course you should not be indulging in wearing certain things. Like even your conscience should prick you. Like if I put certain things on, my conscience will prick me. Like now you know better. You know what I'm saying? It was you
Right.
know what I'm saying, or I
Mhm.
feel uncomfortable like with it
Mhm.
on, and I want to hurry up and get home because I need to take it off because I feel uncomfortable. And that's just
Right.
God and the Holy Spirit. That's how God works. Thank God for that, right?
Yeah. He works from the inside out.
Exactly.
So a person
Yes.
will say, my father, he preached a message once, and he said, and somebody was saying like, it's not in my clothes, and he said it's supposed to be wherever you in. He said if you in the backyard, it's supposed to be in the backyard. If you in the
Okay.
clothes, it should be in the clothes. If you in the house, it should be in the house. It should be wherever you reside because it's in you.
Exactly.
So and I was like, wow, that's a good point.
It should be. And so many people say that they're, woman of God's or not even just that, a Christian period, a believer period shouldn't dress any type of way. And that's my thing when it comes to come as you are with a lot of churches and things. I get the come as you are, but it makes people come in here in the church with the same type of attire because they're like, well, God's looking at my heart. But if you go to a cabaret, you're going to dress an attire. If you go to a party, right? A black tie affair. You ain't gonna come in there and be like, well, I can dress the way I want to dress. Anywhere you go, they gonna say no jeans, no gym shoes. Take off your baseball cap. But when you go to church, it's just crazy that most people say, I'm gonna come as I am and I'm gonna wear whatever I want to wear, whatever I was wearing in the club. Like, that's just disrespectful. Like, you can respect everything else that's in the world, but when you come to a place where it's supposed to be some type of sanctity there, you don't even respect it. So I hate when people do that and they just, oh, well, it's in my heart. No. If you ain't putting it on the outside, then that means you got a heart issue that need to be addressed. That's just point blank period.
Yeah.
James Mitchell.
Point
Oh,
blank period.
I forgot his whole name, but men's flesh will always crave the carnal parts of the woman. So immodest women will get stared at, followed on Instagram, smashed, etc. But that's all the carnal desires. However, when he's truly looking for a wife, his flesh will still want what it wants, but his heart desires will seek the modest woman to represent God, him, and his children and their children. Exactly. No, and I agree with that. But as a Christian man, if you're truly, you shouldn't be following those type of women. You shouldn't be craving them or smashing them. You shouldn't be doing any of that. But I truly what you said is true. Like when you don't know better and you're in your, like he said, carnal, your flesh, you're gonna be doing what the flesh does because you're after the flesh, you're walking after the flesh. So I understand that. Linda said it takes the power of God to help in these days and times because women and men lust more and more for nakedness now. Ooh, Lord. Let me. It takes the power of God. I mean, because honestly, I see it. Like I just was scrolling, like I go on Instagram. I don't even go on Instagram a lot, but then you see a
Well,
twerk
shut the door.
contest with Sukiana and not Sukiana, with I don't know whatever her name is, and Sexy Red. I'm like, now why is y'all having a twerk contest? It's everywhere. Like the nakedness, the nudity. everywhere and nobody is ashamed of it, which you should be. Other countries are laughing at our women like what is wrong with those women over there? Not just black women, it's white women too. It's just that's what we're centered around because that's our culture here, but it's all women are doing this and all men are having a problem with it. Um Before I go further, let me go ahead and play a couple videos. We had a couple videos that were on here that were really
I
good.
I
Go.
did want to say something to Jane. Well, to his comment, right? Which when it comes to carnal and flesh, so it's
Mhm.
like I do agree and everything, but it also goes to if that's the case, then we also have to take into account that women are doing it on account of their flesh as well.
Right.
Women's flesh is no more cleaner than a man's flesh. So flesh is what caused these things to happen in anyway. On both sides. So it's just about we all need to be accountable for that, especially if we trying to endeavoring to live right is it's even more of a importance.
Yeah, it's a
But
battle.
I do agree, with what he said.
Yeah, but see that's the issue with the women. Like, well, if they're looking for a decent man and all you're looking at or looking for, they see that you're looking at is women that's half dressed, naked, and you're all under those pictures, their self-esteem could be, and I'm not saying that it's your fault entirely, but they're gonna not want to even maybe approach you or even feel like they have a chance because it's like, well, he say he a Christian man or he love the Lord, but he like all them naked women. So should I
Mhm.
start dressing that way to get his attention? You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Because you're not looking at that. But I understand flesh. This is why you have to cover it because the flesh wants what it wants. The eyes look at it, and it's just the way we're made. That's why it needs to be covered. Um, Tony said one of my female clients said you're doing a great job with the podcast. Oh, thank you, Tony.
Aw.
Thank you. We're trying to do our best with the help of the good Lord. So thank God for that. Merely said our fun preferences are rarely the same as our marriage preferences, but we entertain both just in different ways. I know, but it's confusing to women who are truly looking for a good man, a man that says they're a man of faith. So it sends mixed signals. And I think that's unfair to women, in that case, not excusing what they're doing. But I think it's
Mhm.
unfair to send both of those signals. If you claim that you want this, how can you say, I'm gonna play around with them? And I know men do that. I know that's just the mindset of them. But a man of faith shouldn't have that. It should be a difference between the two. But I want to play a couple videos. Okay, I'm gonna play that one and then play something else. Okay, one second, guys. Let's share this. This is just a lady talking about this guy asking the lady about women with no clothes. Let's see what she says.
Do you think men want women who dress provocatively or modestly?
I would say more modest. Me personally, I'm not going to sit out there and flaunt everything I have out to the public. So like with this, I'm just like jeans and a t-shirt. He's out 24/7.
So is it fair for a chick to get catcalled if she has her titties out then?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's like she's asking for it almost. But then again, it's like be confident in what you're wearing, but also you have it coming. You can't say like, oh, I'm not sure why you did that. Well, I mean, you're wearing lingerie in the middle of the street.
So why do they expect not to be objectified if they're literally objectifying themselves?
I don't know. I don't understand the women's brain half the time. I really don't.
She sound like
She says she don't understand the woman's brain half the time. I know sometimes I'll be like, huh? Because it's just getting so far that it's not understandable at times. What did you have anything to say to that video? Did you fellas have anything to say about that video? She kind of agreed with everybody what we're saying. Was that modest to you, Melita? You think what she had on was modest? What y'all think?
I think for her to not be in claimant of being separate to live a holy life, I think that it would be considered more modest, but
Yeah,
I wouldn't say
it was it's better than what we
right.
see out here. Yeah, so definitely it's not bad. Like, oh my god, but yeah. But yeah, what she said was true, you know. But she's the thing that got me is when she said, well, he asked, well, why don't they want to be objectified? Why do they say we objectify them when they're basically objectifying themselves by wearing what they wear? She like, I don't know. What y'all think? Why are y'all
It's just one I
objectifying these
had.
women? I'm gonna go to oh, no, that was the one I did already.
It's a nice comment.
Uh say that for less. I got some good videos. One video from everybody's favorite. It's like, nah, y'all don't like this lady that's gonna talk. Okay. I'm gonna go. Oh, let me play the video that you sent me, Melita. I think that'd be a good one, right? The lady explains why men aren't obsessed with
Yeah,
women
that was good.
anymore.
Besides
That
that,
was good. That was good, y'all. And that's why it made so much sense. Which I guess she's not saying obsessed in a rageful in a way where you're just crazy, you know, doing crazy stuff about him. But you know how men used to be back in the day, like googly eyes all the time, and you know it was like a different feel back in the day, and now that's just not there anymore for men. I'm gonna play it, and I want you guys to let us know if you agree, fellas, with this video here. Okay. Sharing it now.
On Facebook, and basically it says men are not obsessed with women like they used to be. Y'all don't find that kind of weird? And to be honest, no, I don't find that kind of weird, because what exactly is there for men to be obsessed with in today's world? Women have left no room for imagination, none whatsoever. It's like your sense of entitlement is out of control. Your expectations are unrealistic. Y'all walk around showing your bodies half dressed, half exposed 24/7, out smoking, drinking, partying 24/7, on the scene 24/7. A lot of y'all are not even coming with nothing to the table because you're too busy with your hand out trying to see what man got the next bag so he can sponsor your lifestyle to make you look like you're living a lifestyle to post on the internet. It's like a lot of y'all don't have common sense. A lot of y'all don't know how to hold a conversation. A lot of y'all don't have no originality about yourselves. Everybody is getting the same body. Everybody is getting the same hairstyle. Everybody looks the exact same. And it's like, y'all get that confused. Oh, well, men like that. No, men will fuck that. But men are not wiping that and they're not cuffing that. And I think y'all are starting to realize that. And then the first thing y'all want to say is, oh, well, they're gay, they're sassy. No, they're not. They're just tired of what you guys are presenting. And if y'all are here to give them free pussy, free looks, and free everything they ain't got to work for, why would they? But they're never going to take you serious. So it seems to me like a lot of y'all are now starting to realize that you're either losing value or have lost value from chasing attention. And now that's something that y'all got to deal with, and y'all can't face that fact. Men love women that are exclusive, women that are.
Okay. She said a mouthful. What do you think, fellas? I got a lot of comments to go back.
yeah.
She said a lot, y'all. I'm gonna go to some of these comments while y'all dwell on what she said. Kind of what we are already saying. You know, they don't want their woman to be exclusive with nobody but them. You know, they don't want you to show their goods to everybody else. So it makes sense though. Um, but what she said was now women are now calling men sassy or gay because the men aren't the same way like they used to be. And it's because you're showing them everything. You know, I mean, you're giving them everything before they even commit to you. And a lot of times that's also why women aren't getting married because of that. But I'm gonna go to the comments so I can see what the fellas are saying. Let's see here. Oh, I'm all the way up here. Okay. So this is probably old, but Jackie, hey, she said, I agree with Melita. I also think that women dress more modest and more classy as they become more mature. That's a good analogy, I would think. And I think that that's probably because they learn on their own, you know, after they get older, because no one's teaching them like as we should. No one's teaching the young women how to be young women and young ladies and how to dress in a proper dress code, because most of the moms are actually, you know, dressing the same way. So yeah, I would say they do have to get it as they get older on their own. Tonya said nothing is holy about that type of dress. Conviction should rise up so fast you feel uncomfortable. It should. But a lot of these people who aren't, saved don't have conviction. They've ran that away because they continue to do it. So there's none. Somebody needs to pull her to the side and actually, talk to her. Jackie said, let's be clear. No woman of God is dressing naked or too revealing. Okay, they shouldn't be. Now, what's his name? James said he saw some. I don't know. Um, James said they're not dressing naked like the world necessarily, but it's definitely not modest enough to represent the kingdom of God. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That's not saying all or even most, just saying that there are professing women of God who dress in modest. No, okay.
Yes.
That's fair to say. That's definitely
Yes.
fair to say. Because again, I do see where, they're not dressing. It should be a distinction. It shouldn't be like, oh, that's a woman of God. Oh, what you got? It should be a distinction where you see a woman of God and okay, she looked like it from the head to toe. You know what I'm saying? So I understand what he's saying. Jackie said, you are right on point, Sherry. People have no respect for the house of God anymore. These leaders are going to have to answer to God. Yes, people should come as they are, but once you accept the Lord Jesus in your heart, the teaching starts. Man, and I've been talking to my friends, and that's been coming up so much. Yeah, that's becoming
that was
so
great.
good. I think we missed that part. The teaching needs to start after you accept Christ. Okay, now let me tell you how it is to walk that way. Not just keep coming as you are, and now you wearing all this type of stuff, in the sanctuary in front of the men who could be struggling with that, or whatever. And I'm not saying it's the women's fault that they're struggling with their lustful nature, but you could actually help your brother in Christ by not wearing certain things. Tony said that was a great clip. Merely said yes, what she had on was just fine. Okay. Merely said we're not looking for chicks in robes. Nah. Oh, okay. Okay, you're not looking for chicks in robes. Okay, so you're looking for the chick that's on the screen. Okay. I know who Merely looking for. He looking for where's she at? Where's she at? This who Merely looking for, y'all. No. Okay, let's see. Latonia said, I wouldn't say it was bad. However, she was open and honest. She said she had her breast out and she explained a great point to cover them tatas women. I love her outfit though. Just cover the boobs. Yeah, exactly. It wasn't bad. It wasn't a form because again, sometimes she didn't really have any backside. So if you're bigger, of course, it would have probably been a little bit worse because if it's really tight, then you can see everything. But yeah, she was a small petite woman. So it did make a difference. Linda said, I don't understand the women rubbing each other's behind. Oh God. Listen, Mama J, I'm with you. I don't understand either. I don't know why women are doing that either. I despise it. Please do not do it to me because I'm gonna be like, it's just so unnatural. I don't even. I remember when I used, was going to certain different birthday parties and stuff, and everybody get to dance and the women dancing on each other, and then and I'm like, I don't do that. I don't do that. I'm sorry. Ugh. James Mitchell said, listen, ain't no men of God passing up a beautiful, modest, feminine woman of God, no matter how naked the Instagram model may be. Mm-hmm. A lot of women of God believe they are modest, pure, feminine, etc. But what you'll find out is a lot of women of the world have qualities that most men in general desire, even if those desires are carnal. Men of God don't have the mindset to have sex with women who are naked. Their flesh does, but not necessarily the man of God per se. The woman in the video said exactly what men in general, I guess, would say. Okay. I mean, I get it. I get it. You know what I'm saying? But there are some that are doing it, but I understand what you're saying. James, did you have anything to say on that, Melita?
No.
No. Okay. Yeah, he's saying everything that we're saying too. But I still believe that some of them are, they got their Instagram models that they following. And as a man of God, I don't think you should be following those models who's showing everything. Or, you know what I'm saying? You should get conviction to delete that. No, I don't care if you are a man in flesh, you know what I'm saying? Because you're supposed to be walking or trying to strive to walk in separation from the things of the world, in holiness. So you should just go ahead and delete it. And
Right.
so
When
it
you
won't
like it,
keep
you're
us
gonna
like,
grant.
huh?
When you like it, you reinforce it. You're another like that they're
Exactly.
getting that reinforces that behavior, and we supposed to
Right.
be being separate from that. So we shouldn't show approval for that.
And that's what it is. You hearting it. You showing it like, okay, even if it's you just saying it looks nice, it's you're still hearting it. Like you said, you're giving approval to continue on wearing this. That's why a lot of women are wearing it. If a woman put up a picture like this and probably got no likes, you think she gonna do it again? Really?
I think that it look, I've seen them have no likes on one. I mean, well, not as many on one and then a lot on the other one. So if they're eventually, if they stop getting likes, they're gonna stop.
You're
Maybe
gonna
not
stop.
after one picture, but eventually it's gonna be embarrassing. It's gonna be they're gonna
Exactly.
it becomes then just the soul, and the flesh is not getting any gratification, so the soul gets to speak louder and say, like,
Exactly.
that's embarrassing. Why are you doing that?
Right.
You
That's
know,
why I'm
you're
like,
doing all this for what? And in exchange for what?
you're not even getting likes on Instagram or Facebook.
You're not even
Nobody's
getting
liking
the
this.
attention drug that you
Nobody's in your DM. So if the men would actually stop liking it, stop agreeing with it, or sharing it or whatever, DMing these women, the women would stop. Like they would have no choice. And I'm not saying it's the men's fault. We're not blaming you guys. We're just saying that you could help, just like the
yeah,
sisters need to help you
it
when
helps
you
exactly.
you're falling in your temptation. They can dress better.
Yeah. If men predominantly women still know that men are the one that make the choice, start putting that, modesty on the pedestal, and showing more likes to those instead of the naked ones. And then they'll start to say, hey, if I want his attention, I have to dress like this. If I want his attention, I have to carry myself like this. I need to get to know God if I really want him or a chance
Yes.
at him.
Say it says that's for real because it could change the narrative. It's gonna change the narrative if they see
They're
like,
the
oh,
heads, they're the leaders. You
they
can't
because
say that and still blame women, and still say women need to step up to the plate and be a leader and stop being, you know what I mean? Like the leader is the one that's going to step up to the plate.
exactly. That would change the perspective because if the women, because again, a lot of women sometimes are only dressing like this to compete with the other women who's dressing like this. Oh, okay, she got her backside big. I'm a wear that, and I'm gonna outdo what she got on. But if she see like, oh, well, this modest woman who's dressing modest and she has clothes on is still getting attention. Well, maybe I could dress like that and get attention because some women just don't know.
Mhm.
Some women just, again, like I said, they haven't been taught, and so they're just clueless to it, and they're just out here winging it. Like you'll be surprised how many women have never heard that you should be modest. They don't even know that you should be modest. Like again, it's not a thing to them. But I see Linda said that's right. No one's teaching them. Yep, that's what I said earlier. James said me either. I don't know. He talking about me either. You're not
I
liking
think
the
they're rubbing the
pictures.
behinds.
Oh, okay. You don't
That's
like
something
to see it either? Linda says, "Shame on you, Merely." Right. He t- she talking about when he said we don't want no nuns, somebody in the room.
Yeah, nobody in the room. No, when you said he want this type of woman, he
Oh
was
yeah,
playing. She was
that's
playing
what he
back.
want. He ain't say nothing. Merely want. He ain't said a word in here either. I said, "Oh, this who Merely want." He ain't said, "No, it ain't."
Went
He was like,
invisible.
"Okay."
He couldn't even see the
Right.
screen no more.
Take the emoji off. We need to see the whole picture. James said, I think women of God can be fashionable and not look like nuns. Absolutely. I agree that they
Absolutely.
can. And it looks so much better. It looks so when it's modest, it looks so put together. Like it's something about it. It's like, and you're a lot more confident too. Jackie said, but the people love to have it. So yeah, they do. They
Yeah.
love to have it, and then in the stores making it. So it's kind of like hard, not hard, but it is hard like for like young ladies to wear certain things because even the stores are making things where they have no choice
Yeah.
but to buy this stuff. So now you got to stay high and low, and most
It's
people ain't going.
tighter.
They ain't going to look for nothing different. Trust me. That's too much
It's like
effort.
if you have a smaller waist, then they're gonna make the clothes with where it's gonna be tighter on your behind or something like that, and it's like a person, you know what I mean, make the waist fit the, everything. So which
Right.
I guess is hard to do when you
James said, "Wait, wait, wait. Just because she's naked or half naked in the pic, and a man likes it, he could be liking it for the furniture in the background. Now we know he playing. We know he laughing and
who he
joking.
sound like.
Right? The furniture. Okay, okay.
I
But
like
no,
it.
nice furniture.
Nice nails.
So you said, no, okay.
Keep
Jackie said,
Toya.
she said,
Toya.
I don't look like a nun, but I'm not giving up none. Okay, wow.
You shoot. She still don't. She never looks like a nun at all.
Okay. Merely said the women who are truly upright don't have time to worry about what type of likes whores are getting. What? Modest women should just be modest and live by example. Those who desire to follow their light will just do that.
I
No,
agree.
I
I
mean,
do.
no, I agree
Some
with
agree.
what
Yeah,
he's
some
saying, but he's saying the ones that are truly upright don't
not
have time to worry
fixating.
about it. Yes, they
Yeah.
will because they could be convicted. Like, let me tell my sister that there's a better way. You know what I'm saying? Or the ones who are single, again, a lot of women feel like the ones they're single that the so-called 304s are getting all the men. So that's really not true. Like,
Yeah, that's a good point too.
you know what I'm saying? Honestly, they feel like, well, I try to dress this way, I try to be this way, but the men are looking at all the women that's dressed that type of way. So again, do you want, you know what I'm saying? And these are the men who are really believers. So do you want
Yeah.
me to dress, you know what I'm saying? So I believe even if you can, they'll see your light, they will see your light. They will, I believe that they'll see that and want to do what you're doing or want to do it the right way. I believe that, especially the ones who were not taught and want to know the right way to do things. But I also do believe that, if you continue to wear this, if they keep seeing you liking, this person, oh, she's dressed like that. Oh, okay. And they like you, they're gonna get some type of confidence issues. Like, well, dang, well, maybe, what I'm saying, I need to change my wardrobe up. And that's just the way the human brain works. It has nothing to do with, well, just stand there and keep being modest. But if you're single and you're looking or you're waiting for your husband to find you and all the whores keep getting all the men, you like, well, dang, I'm trying to be a good upright woman and they keep getting all the good men. So I think that's how it's looked upon. What do you think, Melita? Do
I
you have
think I think what you're saying too is like it's human nature. It's like being upright and living, for God doesn't mean you don't have feelings. It doesn't mean you don't have emotions. It doesn't stop you from being human.
Yes.
And so I think that it can be a struggle, or not even a struggle, but it can be just something that's that's in the back of your mind, or something that you consider, or whatever. Of course, like you said, being upright, you're not going to subscribe to that or sit in that, because you are focused on the lifestyle that you live in and who you living for, which is should be Christ. And I think that so yeah, those are good points. As well as a lot of men, they may not want the truth, or they're not sold all the way out, because they still want to entertain the the naked women and the lustful women and things like that. So it really is stopping you from getting men and women from being who God intended for them to be with, because of that, because they are more so focused on fleshly and
Right.
playing and lusting and things like that. So I think
Right.
that, so I agree with you basically.
Merely said, live it and you'll gain those who are meant to be gotten. Absolutely, you will. You will gain those, but Titus tells us to teach also those women who don't know how to, be the women that God called them to be. So that is something that we should all actively, as women, especially the mature woman, should be teaching a younger woman. And like Melita said, although, yeah, you can live it and they, whatever, they still have feelings. That's to the second comment that he said upright women shouldn't compete with whores. And they they should not compete with them. But it's like she said, it boils down to just somebody having the feelings, right? Or somebody just looking at something like a normal human would say, just like y'all say, now you want the poo poos and ray rays, you dated those, right? And they getting all the attention, but the good guys ain't getting no play. Right? It's the same analogy as to why women like the men who are 6 feet tall and they may be, you know what I'm saying, like doing in the streets or whatever, but women go after those men. You know what I'm saying? And then the good guys who are sitting on the sideline are looking like, well, dang, I was opening the door for you. You know, I was sweet bringing you flowers. Y'all didn't even like me. So yeah, now they may be like, okay, well, I'm gonna be a bad guy too. Let me get out in these streets. So it's the same analogy, and that's how the human mind works. You do have to be strong minded, but imagine you being single for years and this is all you're seeing. So it could do something to any person who's single. And again, you have, struggles at times. So I just feel
Right.
like, it's not that you're trying to compete with the 304s. You're not doing that. It's just that you have feelings. You're a person. And again, when you have that area of weakness, sometimes it makes you look at it like that. Well, dang, that's all. Um, let's see. James said, I know doggone well y'all ain't saying a man can tell or influence a woman to put clothes on. Laugh out loud, just so he can get cussed out by her saying, you ain't my daddy. You can tell me what to do. You can't tell me what to do. I'm grown. Shoot. Okay. No, we're not saying that you have to say that, right? We're not saying go into her comment, say, put some clothes on. Now, even some men will do that. And yes, she's gonna tell you that. Although although she's saying that to you, something has pricked her. Yes, so she's just saying that because again, she doesn't want you on her page. Imma block you. Right, but something has pricked her, and so
Yeah.
you saying that and you can be nice about it and go to her inbox and say, "You're a beautiful woman. You don't have to dress like this. You don't have to be mean about it. You don't have to come on her post being facetious. You don't have to do that. Just don't even like it." By not liking it after so many posts of that
Wow.
and nobody's liking it, she's going to eventually stop posting it because it's not getting any traction. Nobody's liking it. Let me just stop. So you can help without even saying a word, pretty much. Just don't entertain it, you know? And if you do say something, address her in love. And she may still say you ain't my daddy, but at least you're planting a seed, and that's what it's about. Linda said back in the day, elderly women and our parents did not mind telling us or our friends that they are dressed wrong. Nowadays, you better not say anything to today's women. Exactly. Oh my goodness. And I mean, I remember growing up, you had to have the skirt down below your knees. If you didn't, you had to pull it down. It was like cross your legs when you sit down. It was a lot of stuff. I seen a
Mhm.
video and they were saying that women nowadays are like sitting like men. They say like their mannerism kind of like men because they don't wear dresses enough. And so because of that, when you got pants on, you can just kind of sit any kind of way. I was like, wow,
Right.
I
And
never
so
thought of it that way. Yeah. Versus when you had a dress on or a skirt, you were trained to, okay, you got to close your legs. So you sit in a certain way. You not just, what up though? No.
right.
But yeah, so that makes sense. We need them women back. Like, just stay on the battlefield, y'all. Even if they don't hear y'all, keep telling them, okay, somebody gonna get it. I promise you, somebody gonna get it. Before I go to these comments, I got two more videos I wanna show you guys. One is from Owens, and I know nobody really likes her, but she makes valid points, and I like how she puts things, and it's all the truth. So let's just take a look at what she has to say about this.
That's just going to be naked all the time and put herself out there available for
Let me run
man
it.
doesn't want a girl that's just going to be naked all the time and put herself out there available for every man to see. That I don't have to be a man to know that that's not what men want. So then you say men suck, and I ask this question all the time. You complain about men, but are you being the type of a woman that a man would want? Right? If you think that that's freedom, the idea that you have to wear less and the idea that you have to get naked to be heard, you really think that's a form of freedom? Because that's slavery, that's bondage. I didn't have to take off my clothes to be heard in society. And these women will realize that when you follow these people that are self-imposed feminists, I'm a feminist, I do this, I'm a feminist, you hear that word over and over and over again, you'll find that the majority of them are miserable. Look at their lives and ask yourself a question. Do you think they are happy? Do you feel good when you do what they do? right? When you're constantly looking for a dopamine hit. Men
Yeah.
as a
That was good. A dopamine.
Yeah.
That's what we talked about.
Yeah.
What y'all think? What y'all think about Candace and what she said? What you think, Melita? Because of course, I picked.
I think that she really just said what we said, and just kind of reiterated really fast, and just it goes back to that instant gratification, that dopamine hit of the attention. Like she said, you become a slave to it. You need it constantly, because when not, and it's quiet and you're alone, or even when people around and you feel alone and you feel degraded and you feel like a hostage, like a slave, you're in bondage. You know what I mean, to these things, to other men, to your flesh, to their flesh, and you feel like you have to do that to be heard, to be seen,
Precisely. That's exactly what she said. I like Candace Owens. I always have. I think she stands for truth most of the time. I know her husband isn't a black man. We know that, but I just think either way, she says the right things. So, and she's a woman. So a lot of women are getting mad at her for saying that, and she's a woman, and this is the way she feels. All right, I'm gonna go to the last video I had here, and it's a man who's speaking to the ladies.
Ladies, what you have to understand is there are a lot of weird, desperate men out there. And us as men know these threats. So when your man is telling you, I don't want you wearing that, it's because he knows the dark side of the world. You can't control these weirdos and predators out there, but you can control what you wear and how the world perceives you. The reality is that life can be a cold place, and it's not life's job to understand how you work. You owe it to yourself to understand how life works.
I have something to say. It's like, I agree with him, but then it just also sparked the thought of like how men get a woman that look a certain way and flaunt a certain thing, and then they cuff these women, and then they want to change these women and say that women are stubborn, disobedient, and this and this and this. And it's like, but if a woman went out and got a man that was flashy, whoring around, drug dealer, they'll say, well, you knew what you were getting into when you signed the contract. You know what I mean? Now you want me to stop doing drugs. Now you want me to stop being whoring around. Now you want me to, and it's the same thing. It's like, you can't get a woman one way and then I'm gonna take her and she's gonna love me enough and then I'm gonna change her. God has to do that. That's his job. So either impress upon her the Lord and live it with your life and lead her to Christ, and then go that route, or just move on to somebody who's already understand it. Yeah.
Leave her to the streets and just wait.
Wow.
No, but like that's what I did think about that too when he said, if your husband, if he tells you not to wear this, but a lot of times, like you said, you were wearing those type of things when you got him, but now since he's your husband, now he like, well, I don't want you wearing that, but you didn't care before, no. But yeah, it takes a godly woman to understand that, because most women will resist and say, well, I was wearing this before. You can't tell me not to wear it now. What's the difference? So we got to have that
agreement.
Huh?
I said, unless they had that understanding, like,
right.
But 9 times out of 10, if she didn't change it before you and while at the beginning stages or just on her own, then eventually she is going to think that it's bondage, yeah. That you are doing it because she's not doing it from her own free will and conviction. She's doing it from your free will and conviction. And man's law, it don't hold up. It don't hold up when it comes to the flesh. So if they're not doing it, willing to do it for God, then why? There is only at some point they're gonna stop wanting to do it for you, or even start. It all depends on the woman.
Exactly. All right, I'm gonna go back to the comments. That was my last video, which I thought was very good, and he's just trying to stress that women, this is the way the world works. It's a lot of crazy men out here. It's a lot of men that are just not in their right mind, and so you got to watch what you're wearing. You know what I'm saying? It's not saying because the feminists will get mad at you if you say, well, you were asking for it, because a lot of men have said that, like, well, you were wearing this. What did you expect? And I'm not saying that that should happen, but there are consequences to doing the wrong thing. We know that, right? If you're out looking as a prostitute, that's what somebody's going to take you for. Like, oh, okay, well, maybe this is what you want, and you're like, no, that ain't, I'm just dressing this way. Why? When that's the way prostitutes dress. So you got to use some logic and not all the emotions. So that's what I have to say. Let's see. Merely said these chicks who are naked out here don't want to hear nothing no modest chick got to say. Yeah, that's why we need you. That's why we need you to not like and love their pictures and get in their DMs. So that way they'll see that, nobody really likes that. We want you to be modest, I mean, they're not listening, but sometimes the seed is no, I know the seed is planted. Even though they say they're not listening, there's a seed planted. And even if it takes a couple years, whatever, they'll come back to like, I remember this, so it does help. Linda said love compels you to say something to some of these women because they don't know. Exactly. And that's what it is really merely. It's the love of God, the love of people, that you want, where you were at once before. And now you want, them to understand where they need to be. That's our responsibility, just even as a human being, is to bring somebody where they need to be. Like if we see them in error, it's our responsibility to say, hey, there's a better way to do this, and try to educate them. That's anybody's responsibility, but it's really as a believer, our responsibility to offer the correction in love. Jackie said a lot of good men are choosing the slutty looking women because they want a good looking piece on their arms so they can look good. Hold on, y'all. Guys got your partner. Okay, that's good. That's good. Y'all. Okay, I did it 3 times. Sorry, I kept pressing. She said, "Hold on, y'all. Guys got y'all partner. So if y'all waiting for y'all partner, hold on, hold the line." Because she said that and I know Auntie Jackie a little bit up there, so I want to know: is it the older men too doing this? They be getting the slutty young women, like, and I don't mean no offense, but the ones that's looking more provocative on their arm. That's another conversation for another day. Merely said that's weakness. Be who you are. Man, don't give up. So that's weakness. Be you are. Oh God, that's what I'm saying. Merely we women have weaknesses too, right? So just because they're strong and they're like, I'm looking for a good man, you know what I'm saying? But then, she getting all the attention over there and she dressed half naked. Don't you think some of those thoughts may get into her mind? It's just the way things work, y'all. It's just the way things work. I'm not saying that she's weak, but she may have a weak moment where she's tired. Merely just gonna keep going with this. He said, I'm all for letting people learn the hard way. Oh, we know you are. Bump your head. I don't care. And I'm not coming to help you either or save you.
No mercy. They don't.
No mercy at all. Ashley said, well, look at the age we living in. Women getting their bodies done just to wear proactive clothing.
I thought that was funny.
Rappers are the ones setting the tone for these BBL women. Cardi B, etc. Yep. And that's what I said. Those rapper girls, Sexy Red, Creesha, whoever, I don't know all their names.
Cheerleaders and the NBA, all these other sports. So it's
getting their body done so they could say, like, look at me, and I don't know. And the men are saying it's not what they want, but they getting it done anyway. We know, we talked about that. Y'all don't understand the nature of men. That's how he said it. We understand. We get where, okay. We're not saying we don't understand. We're just holding both parties accountable, right?
Exactly.
So I know the nature of men is to look at a picture and their eyes is like, ooh, I see what I like. Breast, butt, it's all the Coke bottle shape. Ooh, I get that. And to say, I'm gonna love this, or I'm gonna hop in her DM. Let me see if she's single, because no, I get that. But just like the woman has to change and make a conscious decision to say, I'm not going to dress this way any longer, even though I like the dopamine hit, I like the attention that I'm getting, I still have to stop. So men got to do the same thing. You know, I understand how you're wired. Women are wired to like to be adorned. Women are wired for men to be not obsessed, but just to be in love with them, to say they're beautiful, to give them compliments. This is how women are wired. And a lot of women, they're single, they're not getting that because they don't have a man, right? So who else better to do than the strangers on Facebook or Instagram? And so that's what they're looking for, you know?
Yes.
So if men had their discipline, and I know men are wired to look and say, "Oh," but you have to discipline yourself and say, "No, I'm not, you know, let me not even like it." Because you know what I'm saying? And then I was listening to this guy who was saying that a lot of women are single because, you know, when they dress this way, the men that are looking at them are not the men that want to wife them, which we've said several times. And so they miss out on their husband because they're just now dating serial dating men who just want them for their body. And because of that, now you end up, you know, 10, 20 years not being married or whatever, you know, not finding a good man because every man just wants you for one thing. And although you think they want you for more, that's all they had in mind. Because when you know, when they see you, okay, I think they could see like, okay, she looks like wife material, or they'll say, no, you know, she's just a one night. And so that's the reason why women, you shouldn't, you know, you should dress more modest because again, it prolongs your husband from finding you because he's looking for wife material. Wife material, why women who are wife material look modest. We're not saying a nun like merely said, but they look modest. They have a look to them. They have an act to them, you know? Um Linda said, right, men should respect a woman, regardless of what she's wearing. They should. Absolutely they should, regardless of what. Now, the only thing is I'm saying is I think they should respect you. But again, you have men who are just not right in the head, just like we got women like that, right? And if you just continue to wear the stuff, right? And I'm not saying you deserve it. Oh, you deserve that. That's not what I'm saying. But if you wear the stuff constantly and you know you run into somebody who's drunk at a bar or something, it's not saying that you deserve it, but did you play a part in it? Can we honestly say that you were just innocent of everything?
Right.
I wouldn't say that you're fully innocent. I mean, I'm not trying because listen, the feminists they gonna come and say you're saying the women, you know, what they're wearing is causing men to rape women. Nobody is saying that. Nobody is saying that at all. But again, if you're looking like a prostitute, a man is probably gonna be like, well, she might be easy, you know, and then maybe it just goes too far.
Well,
Yeah.
the way rapers work, yeah, they don't care.
Yeah.
Don't, you know, but you know, other than that, yeah, I think going back to what you were saying, I think you said it great. Like I wish you would have clapped yourself up. When you was talking about the nature of just like men have nature, so do women.
Right.
You know, and it's like we can't expect women to have more discipline than men, and men were the word literally said we are the weaker vessels. We can't just have the good part of the bad part of men can't just have the bad part of that. You know what I'm saying? It's a burden and a price that come with that as well. They should be first. They are the leaders. They are the head. You know what I mean? We were tricked. We were deceived. Eve was tricked. She was deceived. They were not. You know what I mean? So that means they have the power. And you know, well, without Christ, it's hard. You know, but you know, but it's possible to have that strength. And if you don't have it and cannot display it, then you cannot really judge a woman, you know, who also is having a hard time with that. So
Right.
it's not to excuse anybody, it's to help let both parties be held accountable. So yeah.
Yes, absolutely. That's good, Melita. That's good to hold both parties accountable. We can't just say, well, if women stop doing this, if men stop doing this, we both got parts we got to play in there. If we stop doing this and they stop doing it, yeah, we can come meet in the middle. We can't just say it's one person. Well, that's how we wired. We understand and we wired a certain way too, but we still have to make adjustments to make sure we're doing the right thing as well. Ashley said she went into Swank on 8 Mile and did not like the way her clothes fit. Wow, she said she didn't like the way the clothes fit her. I let her know everybody don't dress like this. I don't want my fufa showing. And I like I told her everybody ain't got their bodies done. Her mouth was wide open. Wow. So that's
You
crazy.
don't
See, and
think
that's
about it.
yeah, so maybe she'll start changing, the styles of dress and things because it's getting crazy. You're not gonna be able to wear anything. Like everything you wear is just gonna be so outrageous that I mean, like it's terrible. That's why when my humble beauty, when I was doing humble beauty, that was the whole point because it was supposed to be a line where when it was modesty, you know what I'm saying, to show that listen, we don't have to compete, we can all be modest, we can all look a certain way, you know what I'm saying, because we don't have a lot of clothing out here for women who are trying to be modest, who are trying to actually dress a certain way. It's just I mean, especially in America. Now we may have it for other nationalities, but not here. Merely said men want the whore in his woman, but you don't want her to actually be a whore. Mm. So you'll sometimes grab a chick out here dressing a little provocative, but provocatively because the freak is in there, but you want it tamed and in order for yourself. You want your woman to have both sides. Most modest women don't have the wild side men like, so it's a battle often. And this is why they always end up like that because you can't change her into a housewife. They
And
said
that's
that.
a false narrative. You know what I mean?
It
If
is.
the reason why they're dressing like that outside is because they do not have the tameable. They're not tameable.
Not
They're
saying
not. They haven't tamed themselves
say it.
to not
Say it.
do that in outside. You know what I'm saying? It used to be a saying, and not saying that this should be your main goal, but it was a saying that say a lady in the street. I mean, lady in the streets, and they said a freak in the bed
Mhm.
because ideally back then it was more appropriate for you to show that side in the privacy of your home, in the bedroom, not
Right.
outside. If you're
Right.
being freaky outside, then you're not going to be, what I mean, then you're taking that and you taking it outside, and that's not being tamed at all. How is that being tamed when you're outside of where you should be? you
Right.
know I'm
You ain't gonna tame them, and that's why most
saying,
men have
showing what you
it.
shouldn't be showing, so who you shouldn't be showing it to.
Right, and that's what the men be. I guess the men be
I
thinking
agree.
that, but you ain't gonna tame them women because that's what you gonna always have that power struggle. Well, this is the way I was when you met me. So again, that's why you need to look for a modest woman. And I don't understand how it's such a wild side in the like it. It's not that I don't. It's not that serious. Like, oh, they don't have a wild side. What are we doing here? Are we really swinging off the chandeliers? Like, I mean, it don't take that much to good Lord. Jackie said the older men the older men do it even more. And I could see that because they want to make sure they got their groove back. They older, they looking at some young pretty thing and they can pull her, they got the money for her. So I could see the older men doing it even more than the young men. Yep. Linda said, of course, they want to see the boobs and the buttocks, but do not want to put a ring on it. They want to test drive. Exactly. Yep. And that's what y'all not gonna do. And she was saying provocative clothing.
Trust the process.
Merely said, I'm just saying what men look for. Now
Yeah,
that
they do.
we're agreeing that that's what men are looking for.
Yes.
But I think a godly man, which we hope most men on here become a good man of faith, that they are looking for character versus, oh, how can she perform in the pet room? I know that's important. I know that's important. But again, if you two are working together in the bedroom, how can you not perform right? How can it not be to your liking? You know what I'm saying? If y'all
Right.
open, the communication is open and you can talk and say, I don't see how
Exactly.
that would be an
Right. It's
issue.
like if they're considerate, caring, loving, what I
Yeah,
mean, then they're gonna act, they actually look to please and they and serve and things like that. That how could that not transfer to where it should
in the
to
bedroom.
that way, yeah, in the bedroom.
Exactly. And that's what men need to be looking at. Women who are chaste, who are graceful, who loving, care, all those the personality part, what Anthony said earlier. The personality should be the main factor. Of course, you're gonna like what you like because you're a man, but as you mature, that ain't all even gonna matter, because I done seen men marry women that you be looking like they don't even look like much to woman, but got a good man because of the man was looking at personality, the way that kids were gonna be raised up and trained. RK Butler, hi RK Butler. He said, if a woman wants to wear provocative clothing, really can't get mad if men prejudge her. Unfortunately, people get what they put out. We shouldn't judge a book by its cover, but unfortunately, we are visual people. Yes, I agree. We're definitely visual. So again, we can't judge her as far as saying that she's a 304, but unfortunately, men do that, like you said, because we're visual. So most of the time, men who are looking at her are gonna think she's easy. I mean, that's just, like you said, it's visual. It just happens. Merely said this is why the men marry the modest chick and his mistress has the horse nature. This has always been how it's been. Oh my God, I can't deal with you. And this is why he's no longer with his woman, and now all of his funds
I
are
think we
gone.
mistake modesty for boring.
Come on now.
When it's like, it's not that, it's not. That's how you affiliate it, and that is the.
They mistake modesty for boringness, for it being boring, right?
Yeah, for boring. And I think that's the it's like a man. It's still, like I said, it goes back to a man. Oh, he's flashy, he's got this, he has that. So they associating that, or like he's macho, he has on he works out, and then they can mistake that for security, danger, adventure. And you can have a man that doesn't do all that, but he does, you know what I mean? He does that in the right areas, in the right place at the right time. It's something that you should be able to, if you tame, then you can turn it on, you can turn it off at the appropriate times in appropriate places. That's what being tamed is.
So you have a balance. Back to that. Yeah. You have a balance. You know when you should be able to be a certain way with your husband, and versus when you're out in the street, you're a whole nother person. That just comes with the territory of the woman, the character of the woman. That's why you have to have the character matters way more than the other things, because the other stuff is going to automatically come with the woman. Linda said, I heard it was the opposite. The ones that dress wild are the ones that do not, but the ones that cover up is usually the free.
That's how and that's how it used to be in the old days. It used to be said, like, oh, she nice. She's shy and meek and nice. She probably a freak in the bed. And now it has been flipped.
Yeah.
Which goes back to why it's been flipped.
Exactly. Merely said the nature of a sexually alluring woman isn't just about sex. It's a whole vibe energy that the woman has. So because it's because she has her boobs and stuff out, or because her butt. How is that energy? Because I've seen and I don't dress like super like you said, the stuff all the way up here. I dress like in a decent type of manner, and I've gotten people compliment me and I'm like, oh, okay. So I don't know. I guess it just depends on the man, that the vibe that you're talking about, merely. I think it's just the man. He said we missing the point on purpose. We not missing the point. No, we understand your point. You have a valid point, which most men agree with you. Most men say the same thing. We're just telling you from the woman's side, the woman's perspective, and I understand men are visual. I get that. Men want a certain thing in a bed, but the reason why men want a certain thing in a bed is because you've been conditioned. If you were a just pure virgin, you hadn't had sex like we're all supposed to be. I know but we were all supposed to be that way. If you were like that, you wouldn't have any of these expectations for your woman. You wouldn't even be thinking like, well, is she going to be what I need in the bed? You would not, because you wouldn't have experienced it. So that again has caused us to be in this predicament that we're in. So now this is why you're making mistakes in finding women, and women are making mistakes in finding men, because we're looking for the wrong things.
That's all I'm saying. It's like we cannot say that men look for the wrong things too. And we just acknowledging that men, that's why I try to do the comparison between man and woman. For women, what women do and how they look for the wrong things. He flashy. That means he can give me money. He's stable. He's gonna take care of me. Just because he flashy don't mean he don't want to take care of you. He might want to take care of the whole block.
You're right. You know what I mean?
He got enough money to do it by the time he gets to you. So it's the same way. Just because she out there flaunting it, she might want to give it to the whole block, and then barely has enough energy for you when the time comes. I'm just saying that it's possible. It is when men do think like that, and then a lot of times they have complaints just as much as women have complaints when things don't go the way that they thought it was going to go.
Oh yeah, I agree. I agree.
So that's all I'm saying, and it's like I'm glad that Merely is saying it because a lot of men think this way.
Yeah, and most men got on here,
and a lot of women think that way, but on the flip side.
Okay, so that's all we got today, y'all. We're so happy. Like, this is a very good topic. In closing, we want everybody to go away understanding what we're saying. We're not, we understand how men work. We understand how women work. And that's what I think both of us got to get. You know what I'm saying? We can help each other by not liking and sharing and getting in the DMs of somebody who is immodest, right? That you can help your sister out to get there. Right. And we have to also help our brothers out by not wearing it because we don't want our brothers to fall, to slip into temptation. Right. And that's all we're really saying, is that we need to bring modesty back in some form or fashion. We need to, because it's just getting ridiculous. Even the children shouldn't have to be subjected to see this type of this foolery. Children shouldn't have to be made to see it. So it's all about self-respect. And also, as the woman of faith, if you read 1 Timothy 2, it tells you that the women are to dress themselves in modest clothing with decency and good sense. And it says, not with elaborate hairstyles, gold, pearls, or expensive apparel, but with good works, as is proper for women who profess to worship God. And it's not saying you can't wear a chain or something. It's just saying don't be overboard with it. Don't be having nails that's down here. Your nails all the way. You know what I'm saying? You gotta. That's too elaborate. You know what I'm saying? Don't be having hair all the way going to the side, coming down. That's too elaborate. It's not modest, right? And this is all that Paul is saying when he's teaching this, is saying, women, just learn how to be modest. And he's saying, care more about the inward side. Care more about the inside than you do the outside, because knowing that the outside is going to fade. Beauty is vain, right? But favor, the woman who praises the Lord shall be praised. The woman who praises the Lord shall have favor. So you get favor by praising God, by acknowledging God, by following God. That's how your favor comes. And that's just not favor with God. It's favor with men too. Favor with strangers. It's favor in your job. It's favor everywhere. A woman who's going to walk modestly, trust me, God sees it and he will reward you for it. So don't get discouraged if you have been modest and you haven't got a husband or something yet. Don't get discouraged, because you have to just use the words of God and, stand on his promises. But amen. That's all I got to say. Melita, did you have anything to say?
No. It's just, the word said, what profiteth a man to gain the whole world and lose it? So what's the point of all these followers, all this attention, and your inner man is suffering and wanting to be fulfilled?
Exactly. Right. Your inner man is sick. Your inner man is almost dead, but you're outside, you're just feeding the flesh. So merely, here we go with the virgins. If virgins are on this pod, please speak up. Well, I don't have to be a virgin, no. But of course, we know we're not talking to virgins, but some women and men are trying to be virgins. They're trying to do the right thing. R.K. Butler said, yes, we have the world against us. Black men and women should be teammates, not opponents. I like that. I love that. I love that. Thank you, Mr. Butler. We should be teammates. And that's all we're doing here, is talking about both sides to a puzzle and how it needs to fit, right?
Yes.
How we can help each other out. We're not condemning one or another. We're saying this is how men can help women out, so that way they don't continue to do that. And this is how women can help men out. Now, again, for the people who aren't believers, or, if you're not a believer, you're probably going to just say, whatever, I don't have to believe in, and that's fine too. But somebody's going to get the message and somebody's going to hear it and it's going to plant a seed. And that's all we're trying to do.
Yes. Amen.
All we're
Yes.
trying to do. So, and that's all I have today. Again, ladies, don't forget the outside is going to fade. The outside time. And I've been hearing the men say this person hit the wall. I had to ask my brother what that meant. I'm like, what that mean? He like, oh, time caught up with them, the way they look. So they don't look youthful anymore. Right. So you got to remember, we're all going to hit the wall, I guess. We're all going to age where we're no longer our youthful self. We no longer look like our young, vibrant self. And so because of that, it's more important to have a good personality, a good heart, right? Love for God versus then to flaunt you having a big butt or, boobs and things like that. It's more important because that's going to fade. It could drop, it could get smaller, all kinds of things where you won't have it anymore. And beauty fades. We know that. So it's best to, put your hope in God, put your hope in Christ, and build from there. And He'll give you the characters that you need to attract the godly husband or man that you need. So, in that being said, we're going to get out of here, y'all. So we appreciate y'all so much. Please like, share, subscribe to our YouTube channel, Heart of the Matter Podcast 92, and share this with a friend, with somebody who you think may need to hear it. Even if you don't know anybody who needs to hear it, but just share it out so that way the word can go out and a seed can be planted. Until next time, we love you guys and we will see you next time. Bye.